fried clams.
And I wanted a sea pony.
Life ain't fair.
When you are filming a movie with a scene where a purple dragon and a tentacled human are engaged in a battle in the sea under the beautiful night sky, then you have no other choice than to go seeking experts in computer-generated imagery. If you haven't figured it out yet, the scene we're talking about is the epic fight between our very own Mal and Uma in Disney's Descendants 2. Want to know how long it took to film Night Falls, how Mal managed to bike across the ocean, and how they managed to pull off the beast look? Then we suggest you stick around to the end of this video as we take a look behind the scenes of Disney Descendants. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We are giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Let's begin with the where. After seeing the movie, most of us were pretty fascinated by the scenery, so we are sure it would delight you to know that most filming locations were real places, just in case you decided to drop by. Most of the Descendants trilogy was actually filmed in Canada, with the majority of the scenes being filmed in Vancouver, to be precise. The Isle of the Lost, after the Beast and Belle got married, all the different kingdoms from Disney's original movies were united under the name Aradon, and Beast was elected king. As his first duty, he rounded up all the villains, their sidekicks, and children, and banished them to a rundown isle, aka the Isle of the Lost, where magic doesn't work, and then cast a barrier spell, trapping them there for all eternity. In the movie, what looks to us like a slummy, broken down isle is actually a combination of scenes filmed in a 100-year-old copper mine, a sugar factory, and the streets of Vancouver. The set designer, Mark Huffling, is no stranger to Disney original movie sets, as he has previously worked on over 50 Disney original movies, so he knew just what to do. He made sure that all interior decor on the isle was made to appear decrepit. He even went as far as creating a sunken living room to help Kristen Chenoweth, who plays Maleficent, appear taller in Descendants 1. In reality, Kristen is actually under 5 feet tall. Remember Aradon Prep, the high school that the villain kids got enrolled in Descendants 1? Of course you do. In real life, it's the Hatley Castle and the British Columbia Parliament buildings in Victoria, Canada. The Hatley Castle has become quite a popular spot for movies these days. The castle has also been used in Arrow and as Professor Xavier's school for gifted children in X-Men. If you have ever felt like taking a dip in the Enchanted Lake, the good news is you can. The Enchanted Lake is actually the Lynn Canyon's 30-foot pool. To access the pool, you will have to cross the Lynn Canyon suspension bridge, which appears in the movie as part of Aradon. Other Descendants filming locations include the University of British Columbia and Riverview Hospital. While you can visit these locations, seeing how they actually exist, some other locations like Uma's ship were sets created for the movie. Now that we have discussed the where, it's time to move on to the how. If you've seen the trilogy, you know that there are a lot of hows to be answered, so let's get right into it. One of the reasons we love the Descendants trilogy so much is because it's a musical, which means that in each movie, we get to listen to some pretty amazing songs and watch some cool dance numbers. While doing all of this is incredibly fun for us, it's pretty hectic for the actors. Each number production involves a 3-step process. Firstly, the actors hit the studio and record the song. After that, they hit the dance studio to choreograph the dance numbers and rehearse the entire production sequences. Fun fact, did you know that Jamal Sims, who plays Dr. Facilier, also serves as one of the show's choreographers? Anyway, back to the process. When the cast has perfected the dance routine, they finally get in costume and head to the location to film the scene. In an interview, the cast members revealed the most challenging number that they filmed was the Nightfall, the epic sword fight number where the villain kids had to team up with Uma and the pirates to battle the metal soldiers who had come alive thanks to an enchantment by Princess Audrey. Speaking of sword fighting, ever wondered how the sword fighting scenes were filmed? Actress Dove Cameron revealed that the sword fights are filmed using wooden swords, and oh boy, they are pretty heavy. China Ann McCain confessed that the hardest part of playing Uma, Ursula's daughter, was learning how to sword fight. Still on the topic of sword fighting, the It's Going Down sword fight scene in Descendants 2 featuring Jay, Carlos, Evie, Mal, and Evil Queen was filmed after each character had 20 hours of training with a legitimate swords master. Kenny Ortega, the show's producer, runs a pretty tight ship. We became utterly convinced that practice makes perfect when we saw a video of Boo Boo Stewart practicing for his apple kick scene in the Ways to be Wicked number, the opening number of Descendants 2, using water bottles. That's right, boys and girls, Boo Boo perfected his kicking skills using water bottles, not apples, which is a relief because that would be a waste of perfectly good fruit. Next up is the part you've all been waiting for, the special effects. Some of the many people the Descendants franchise owes its success to are the CGI artists and the tech guys. A lot of the scenes involve the actors sitting or standing next to huge green screens. For instance, remember the scene in Descendants 2 2, where Mal and Ben get into an argument about her indiscriminate usage of magic, and she gets upset and decides to return to the Isle of the Lost by biking across the ocean? We all know that's highly impossible, so here's how it was pulled off. Mal sat on her bike on set and turned her head to the side, with air probably from an industrial fan blowing through her hair next to a huge green screen. Then, well, the computer guys took care of the rest. When Mal's friends discovered that she was gone, they decided to travel to the Isle of the Lost to convince her to come back. After declaring that they wanted to keep a low profile on the Isle, they piled into a flashy limo and conjured up an enchanted gold bridge. While that scene looked really amazing on screen, it didn't happen. The actors simply piled into the car and then alighted shortly after. The rest of the scene's glamour was added using CGI and software. How cool is that? So all the scenes we have discussed are no doubt amazing, but the real CGI miracle came during the cotillion. The cotillion became one big ball of commotion after Uma used her powers to make Ben smitten with her. Later, Mal figured out what was going on and broke the enchantment with a kiss, and that's when the craziness got cranked all the way to 11. Uma ran off the yacht's deck and jumped into the water, where she channeled what her mama gave her, which in this case was the power to turn into a sea witch, who is a half-human, half-tentacled creature. Mal, who was pretty mad at Uma, also followed suit and transformed into a purple dragon after a brief period of her eyes glowing green. She then flew out onto the deck and tried to make barbecue out of Uma by breathing fire on her. Ben, knowing the consequences Mal would face if she eventually succeeded, jumped in to settle the dispute. Just to be clear, China Anne, aka Uma, doesn't have tentacles, and as far as we know, dragons aren't real, so here's how it all went down. Uma jumped off the deck into a pool wide enough to give the computer guys enough space to work their magic. Then, the rest of the cast on the yacht were directed to stare in a particular direction with horrified looks on their faces at nothing in particular. After a while, Ben jumped into the pool after Uma. This scene is considered a CGI miracle because the team had to include Uma's tentacles, Mal's fire-breathing purple dragon, and the starry night sky all in the shot. Did we mention that more often than not, the starry skies in the movie scenes are courtesy of the tech guys? Because in reality, most of the scenes were shot indoors, even the scenes on Uma's ship. Now, let's talk about makeup and costumes. You'd be surprised the wonders makeup can do. The infamous Kara San designs the show's costumes. If you've seen the trilogy, then you know that she did an amazing job by plugging all the stars with costumes that fit their character. The makeup department isn't left behind. They are rather talented as well. How talented, you may ask? So talented that after about 6 hours of hair attachments and intense makeup procedures, they were able to transform the adorable Mitchell Hope, who plays Ben, into the beast he became after Audrey cast a spell on them. The makeup department also deserves some accolades for making Christian Convery and Luke Rossler, who portray Squeaky and Squirmy Smee, respectively, look so identical, especially because they are not even related. Now, to the big question of how much. Disney has been pretty tight-lipped about its expenses, but it did slip out that the budget for Descendants 3 was $15 million. When you think about it, it's a fair price, especially since it turned out to be a crowd favorite. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end of our journey behind the scenes of Disney's Descendants. Thank you for watching. Till next time, goodbye.